Hi P5 girls, I'm Mrs. Cheung. Today I'm going to start with a new topic, volume. Please get ready with your 5D textbook and a pencil. Turn your book to page 28. Let's take a look at the objects here. This is a horse, a building, an earth, a mobile phone, and a cherry. Among the objects here, which one takes up more space? Which one takes up less space? Compare the size, that is the space that they take up, and write number 1 to number 5 in the boxes on your book, on page 28. 1 represents the object that takes up the least space, that is the smallest in size. 5 represents the object that takes up the most space, or it is the largest in size. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to do it. Now do it now. What have you got? The smallest, of course, is a cherry. A little bit larger would be the mobile phone. Then, number 3 is the horse. And number 4 is the building. Number 5 is the largest in volume, that is the earth. What is common among the 5 objects you have just seen, if they are real objects? Are they 2D shapes or 3D shapes? All real objects takes up some space. So, they are the 3D shapes. The space that an object takes up is called the volume of the object. You may also say the volume means the size of the 3D object. Area stands for the size of a 2D shape, and volume stands for the size of a 3D object. Now, let's recall some of the things that you have learned before. What units can you use to measure length? Millimeters, centimeters, meters, or kilometers? How about the 2D shapes that you have learned? The 2D shapes with 3 sides are the different types of triangles. The 2D shapes with 4 sides are the quadrilaterals. They are the square, trapezium, parallelogram, rhombus, rectangle. The 2D shapes also include circle, star, and the pentagon, as well as all the other polygons. When you measure the length of the surrounding side of the 2D shapes, you are measuring the perimeter. But when you measure the size of the 2D shape, you are measuring the area. Area stands for the size of a 2D shape. So what units can be used to measure the area? You may use square millimeters, square centimeters, and square meters. What are the 3D shapes you have learned in math? Cube, a cone, a sphere, a cylinder, a triangular prism, or a cuboid. What unit can be used to measure volume of a 3D shape? We can use cubic millimeters, cubic centimeters, or cubic meters. This will be taught in details in later chapters when we talk about the calculation of volume. Now, let's continue the understanding of the concept of volume first. Here are 2 trays with different amount of marbles. Observe and tell me which tray has a greater amount of marbles. All the marbles are of the same size and shape. there are more marbles in trade on the right, so their total volume is greater. To conclude, if the size and shape of the objects are the same, the more objects there are, the greater their total volume is. We are still on page 29, number 2. Below are the models made up of various number of triangular prisms of the same size and shape. Now compare the volume of the models by counting the number of the triangular prism. Write letter A to D in the circles. A represents the smallest and D represents the greatest. Do the counting first. I'll let you have 10 seconds to do it. Picture A has 4 triangular prisms. Picture B has 5. Picture C has 6. And picture D has 8 triangular prisms. So which model has the largest volume? Yes, of course, it is picture D, which is made up of 8 triangular prisms and is the largest in volume. To compare the volume, other than observing the objects directly or counting the number of bricks used to make up of the models, are there any other method to find out the volume of the 3D shapes? Turn your book to page 30. Here Fanny has 4 measuring cups of the same size and shape. Same size and shape is very important while doing any sort of comparing task. Now put 4 different small objects, namely a toy fish, a Russian doll, a keychain, and a shell in respective measuring cups. Observe the increase in the water level of different objects put in different cups. Number 1 represents the smallest and number 4 represents the object with the greatest volume. In cup number 1, the water level increases by a little less than a quarter of the cup when a toy fish is put inside. In cup number 2, the water level increases more than a quarter of the cup when a Russian doll is put inside. For cup number 3, the water level increases around 1/8 of the cup when a keychain is placed. The last one, cup 4, the water overflows and so the volume is the largest when a shell is put inside. So what is the order of the answer? It is 2, 3, 1, and 4. This is another example of using the water displacement method to compare volume. Take 3 measuring cups of the same size and shape. The same amount of water is put into each cup. Then put 1 object into each cup. Observe the changes in water levels of the cups. Compare the volumes of the object below and write numbers 1 to 3 in the boxes. 1 represents the smallest in volume and 3 represent the greatest in volume. Now put a pair of scissors, a hole puncher and a pen into respective measuring cups. Observe and record the rise of water level in different cups. The rise of water level is the result of the space taken up by the objects, and you can know how to judge the volume of these objects according to the differences of the increase in water level. The smallest in volume is a pair of scissors, followed by a pen, and the largest in volume is the hole puncher. Please pay attention that when you are using the water displacement method to compare the volume of the objects, you have to choose those objects that can completely be immersed into the water and avoid choosing some which will dissolve in the water. for example sugar or ice cube, in order to prevent getting inaccurate results and conclusion. Now please use 5 seconds to do part 1 of page 32. Can you get the correct answers by observation? Do it now. Can you get the correct answer? Now do part 2 by counting the bricks. Write letters A to D in the circles. A represents the smallest and D represents the greatest. I will pause for 10 seconds. Do it now. Please check the answers shown here. I'm sure you could get them all correct. This is the end of chapter 17. Please do your Math 5D workbook exercise 17 and pre-read chapter 18 to get yourself ready for the next lesson. Bye, girls.